Welcome into the Moi Boys Dynasty Podcast, the greatest podcast that you didn't want or ask for. And now introducing your hosts, Jake the Gluten-Free Harris and Peter Cheater Pigoo Hot Sizzle O'Donnell.
Brett, what's up, my homie? And welcome into the Moi Ploy. It's your boy, Jake the Gluten-Free Harris. Alright. I just felt like I had to do that. Alright, Brett. Let's break down your roster. It's 1:46 in the morning. I'm bored. I'm out of dishes to do. I don't have too many toys to pick up tonight, so let's get into it. I got some bottles in the steamer. They are getting sterilized. So I'm going to kill some time and talk about your team, because I know you listen, dog. Alright, Brett. Let's break it down. Let's pull up your roster. You have got a very interesting situation here, my friend. First thing that we're going to look at is your draft capital. You have given up a 2023 first, and you have every other pick. So you still have some purchasing power here. If you think you've got a 2-year window or a 1-year window, let's go ahead and take a look and determine what it is that you've got. All right. Let's look at the quarterback, the anchors of your roster. You've got Kyler Murray. Love his upside. I know you're a homer. Let's go. I wasn't a huge Cardinals fan, as when the Rams were in St. Louis, put us at odds. We didn't know each other. Little did we know we were rooting for each other's demise. At that time, to be fair, the Cardinals weren't much of a threat. They were like the Warner days, but that was it. And the Rams weren't competing for anything. We were never much of rivals. Wrong squad. And you got Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady as a great win now asset. This will probably be his last year. I think he's already got like a very hefty announcer deal in the works. Mac Jones, love that. Daniel Jones, don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'd rather have him on my team than not on my team. And I would absolutely trade him for some of my end of bench scrubs. So you've got kind of a young core with Kyler and Mac, with a 1 win now asset in Tom Brady. That's great. Love to see a little bit of flexibility. I don't know if you're going to be able to sell Brady for much of anything, though. But I don't think you're really in a selling situation. Let's get your running backs. We got Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey. You pretty much have like the redraft RB2 and RB somewhere in like the 3 to 6 range, depending on how people feel about Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey are aging running backs in Dynasty, but they are productive and they're going to be highly sought after in redraft. You've also got J.K. Dobbins, CEH, Elijah Mitchell. You are pretty crazily stacked at running back, and even Chase Edmonds. So that's a grand total of 6 starting running backs that you have. You've got Gus Edwards to back up J.K., and you've got guys like Jeff Wilson, trash, human trash, broken trash, and that's it. So while you have a ton of starting running backs, you don't have much depth in the way of backups here. I think, Kenyon Drake, mostly trash. I think that is a bit of a roster construction mistake on your end. And we'll get into the why here after we talk about your wide receivers. Your wide receivers are captained by Devontae Adams. And you've got Robert Woods, Juju, and a bunch of late round dart throws. A bunch of them. And I think that is your main mistake in your roster construction. Brett, you've got a decision to make in that, and you've got George Kittle, and I think one other good tight end, Noah Fant. Thomas is okay. We'll see what he does. I don't think he's going to do anything special in Washington. Now, you you've got an interesting situation because with your aging running backs and you don't have a 2023 first, you're kind of missing a bit of purchasing power there, and your guys are getting older. You got Devontae Adams. If you wanted to sell your guys and push for like a day one rebuild, you're trying to move Cook, McCaffrey, Adams, Woods, pretty much those like Cook, McCaffrey, Adams, Woods, and Brady. Those are everyone that you absolutely must move if you wanted to do that. And to be honest, I just don't know if the market is there. Like, is Tom going to be really desperate to upgrade Saquon Barkley? Not when he's got Jacobs and Dillon, Rashad Penny, Marlon Mack. Like, those aren't great guys, but they're guys that can fill in a pinch. Juan's got Mixon, Elliott. He kind of did what you did. Kamara, Montgomery, Damian Harris. You know, like, he's not going to be super desperate either. You know, Henderson, I think, is going to be putting up points. The real contenders in the league, I think, are Jim, Tom, Rich. Rich is hurting on the wide receivers a little bit because of Hopkins and Ridley. Sucks to suck, dog. Juan, definitely a contender. So you got like, let's go over. Let me do this a little bit faster. Tom, Rich, Juan, you, Eddie, and Jordan. The 6 contenders, probably, likely the 6 that are going to make. I could definitely see Peter's team and Jim. I forgot Jim. Did I count Jim? Jim, Tom, Rich, Juan, you, Eddie, Jordan. I could definitely see Peter's team bumping somebody out with if he gets if his receiving core is able to just put up enough points to get over the fact that his running backs aren't doing anything, and his quarterback play is pretty nuts between Stafford, Wilson, and Herbert. He'll always have somebody that's got a good matchup in his starting lineup. And he's got some decent depth with like Crowder, Green, Williams. I think Darrell Williams could be a sneaky good play this year as a Cardinal. Yeah, I think Peter's team is sneaky good. Now, I think you need to look at your roster and realize that honestly, you're not going to, as it sits at this moment, you're not going to win a championship. But we've got a long time before opening season starts. And the teams that need running backs are Hot Sizzle. Peter needs them. Jordan actually needs them because he's got a timeshare Javonte Williams, timeshare Antonio Gibson, timeshare Kareem Hunt, and like nobody else. And I think he's really the only starting team that's truly lacking some quality running backs. I think Eddie could use a bit of depth, but then what the fuck are you going to trade for off of Eddie's team? Like his bench doesn't really have anybody. He pushed it all in on like super premium assets. Why does he have Drew Brees on his team? Pushed it all in on like super premium assets, and now he just like he doesn't really like Connor, Etienne, Fournette, Henry. Like, you could trade for Mooney, but maybe you can trick Eddie into this. And here's why I don't think your team can compete. Your flex positions, the wide receivers and flex positions make up the majority of your starting roster. This is a full PPR league, which means that generally you want to be flexing wide receivers. J.K. Dobbins is not a pass catcher. Let's pull up his tape here. When I say his tape, I mean his stats. 2020, he caught like a grand total of 18 he caught 18 receptions, 18 balls. 2019, he caught, well, he didn't play in 2019. He wasn't even drafted then. Don't know why that's there. So his rookie year caught 18 balls. Could that go up? Yeah. Do they have a pass catching running back on the roster? Mike Davis is a bit of a pass catcher. And they just drafted Tyler Beatty. So I really don't think J.K. Dobbins is going to be getting the pass catching work. I think he is pretty much going to be the first and second down thumper. Gus Edwards comes in as a change of pace. You know, Gus Edwards is a 27-year-old guy coming off of an ACL. So, but, you know, with the fact that, like, Gus Edwards is 240, and most NFL coaches have caveman brain when it comes to who to give the ball to on the goal line. Oh, he big, me give ball. Not realizing that, like, being 240 pounds doesn't mean you have good ball carrier vision or can use your blocks effectively or pick the correct hole. Some of the decision making drives me nuts. But, like, you look at his rookie year, like, snap percentage, and yeah, it went up. But I think this is pretty much his ceiling on snap percentage and rushing attempts. I really don't think you're going to see JK become a 20 to 25 attempts per game player. He's going to, if he wants to have a big game, he's going to have to be ripping off these 7.5 per carry games, 6.5 per carry games, splashing in tutties every now and then. Like, the only games he's going to really explode for you are going to be his multi-touchdown games. He only had one of those that ended up in explosion his rookie season. 28 points here. That's his absolute ceiling. Whereas, like, a receiver, let's say Robert Woods. Robert Woods is not highly valued in Dynasty right now. Let's go back his 2020 season. Like, a guy like Robert Woods who's not highly valued. Yeah, this was in the Rams offense. But, like, he put up a 21-point week, an 18-point week, 15, 30, 28. Like, he had multiple weeks, and he did it on 7 opportunities with 1 touchdown. He did it on, 5 catches with 1 touchdown. He did it here, 4 catches with 1 touchdown. This was a big game for him, 12 catches with 1 touchdown. And, like, that's why you want wide receivers in your slot in a PPR format when instead of, like, a running back who doesn't catch passes. I would get rid of J.K. Dobbins. People are dumb. He's only 23. They're going to think, oh, he's going to have so many opportunities without really realizing that, like, Lamar Jackson's going to vulture his touchdowns. Gus Edwards is going to be vulturing some touchdowns. I don't think Mike Davis is going to be getting any. But, like, Mark Andrews, I don't know if Bateman's that guy or not. But, like, I don't think JK is going to have a massive season. I think he's going to be one of those guys where if he's your RB2, you're happy. If he's your RB3, you're even happier. But he's not your RB3. Currently, he is your flex 1. Flex 1. And if we look at some of the teams that you're going to be playing against, Rich's team this is abysmal, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed that I said that Rich might be contending. I really don't think he will be. So let's ignore Rich. Tom's team. Tom's flex 1 is Josh Jacobs, but actually it's Mike Williams. Tom's first flex player is Mike Williams. Mike Williams has a much higher ceiling. 36, 33, 22, 22. Sure, he's got 2 and 4 and 3 and 7 and 7 and that kind of stuff available to him. But so does J.K. Dobbins. If J.K. doesn't get a touchdown, 2, 4, 5, 2, 8, 7, 8. Like, those aren't good numbers. And the only reason that the back end of his season looks so nice is because he got a touchdown in every fucking game. He's not going to be getting a touchdown in every game. He will be giving you single-digit points frequently. And his ceiling doesn't have a 35-point ceiling like someone like Mike Williams does. Uh-oh, I got a baby waking up. So really quickly then, before this baby starts popping off, let's go through the rest of your roster. I think you need to get rid of JK. You need to get rid of CEH. Actually, keep CEH because no one wants him. I think he's probably going to be best on your roster until people see that he still scores points. Get rid of Elijah Mitchell. Get rid of JK before the season begins and people realize that they're not that great. Get 2 wide receivers somewhere in the range of a Mike Williams, somewhere in the range of like a kind of an older, like Brandon Cooks is a great wide receiver to have. Let's go down to Brandon Cooks. I know he's on Jim's team here. Like Brandon Cooks, 18, 22, 18, 9, 5, 17, 7, 20, 11, 3, 13, 8, 18, 29, 19. Like, you'd much rather have that sort of production in your flex 1 spot than J.K. Dobbins' ceiling production, which is going to be 20 points is like his absolute ceiling. That's like what? 140 yards. It's probably like 120 yards, 2 receptions, and a touchdown. All right, I'm going to bounce. You need to sell some of those running backs, and you also need to get some backup running backs on your squad, Brett. You need to drop Jalen Reagor. You're never going to start him. Maybe hang on to Anderson and Samuel and Parker, Tim Patrick, Peoples-Jones, DJ Chark. Those are all fine, but like package some of them, upgrade. Get a guy on your bench that's going to be startable in your flex spot. You're probably not going to be packaging like 2 of these guys together, but maybe like Robbie Anderson in a second and go get a receiver that you can use in your flex spot like Cooks or something like that. John Prochet, whoever the hell this guy is, Prachi, he can suck my Crotchy. He sucks. Get him off your team. There's no reason to have him. No reason to have Sammy Watkins on your team. You're never going to start him. When you do, it's going to be the week that he gets you 3 points. Darius Slayton, get him out of here. Nelson Aguilar, get him out of here. Get backup running backs on your roster because those guys might actually get a start. Those guys will actually be worth something on your roster. Ditch the losers. Get some backup RBs. Get rid of these RBs that are lacking ceiling, especially in a PPR league, and get some real receivers on your team and onto your bench so that you don't end up getting early eliminated out of the playoffs or, worst case, missing the playoffs entirely. That baby's hungry. Later. Bye.